Here, go ahead. Go ahead. Pull your imaginary dart gun and shoot the target at my forehead for being a dumbass.
Yeah, we're live now.
What's up, guys? Metal Douche Mike here. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be officially episode 1 of a new series with Mike and Ryan. New series. It's called, let's just call it the whatever series.
Yeah. Well, essentially, you wanted to do what is essentially a form of retrospective, which is something my channel does.
Sure.
Just without all the fancy editing and stuff. And who are we doing, Mike?
Yeah. The Prince of Darkness.
Ozzy freaking Osbourne. Yes! If any of you are familiar with my channel, obviously Damage Incorporated.
Also, shout out to Metal Ben. He'll be streaming live tonight at 9, so look out for us to be in his chat, hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely will. But getting back on to Ozzy, as long as I can remember, since I was getting, I brought Hoover, Brandon Hoover, your Hoovington Esquire. If you're watching this, Hoover, what's up? We were going, it was going to originally be, when it came to Ozzy, it was going to be me and him. But long story short, I had to let him go so he can go and do life, personal life things.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, and originally you brought up Metal Ben, I was just gonna take his ranking for Ozzy. But after you told me I don't know when it was, the Cold Chamber retrospective I did, which y'all can go and check out on my channel. It's up.
Oh, yeah. After this, I'm gonna share this to Ryan, so hopefully we can get this shared out and we can all.
Yes, and I will obviously, and I might as well just mention this right now, but it will be. This will be also on this live stream. Will be on my channel as a more edited thing. So me just mentioning this will more than likely be edited out. And every time we mention Ben or anything else,
I'm gonna keep it.
You have this version. I have my version, which is a more edited out, takes the clips out, all that stuff. It's a more edited version. But it gets straight to the point, obviously.
Yeah. I'm just gonna
you can check out the edited version of this live stream over on my channel. That'll probably be out Friday sometime. But yes. Like I said, back to the Ozzy thing. Originally it was just gonna be a ranking with Ben, but then Mike here mentioned on my Cold Chamber retrospective, which y'all can go and check out. He mentioned he wanted to do something with Ozzy, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea. I've been wanting to do something with Ozzy since the new album came out last year.
Yeah. Plus, this is a double-edged sword. I wanted to tell him in this live, Ozzy, then Dio. So the next one could be Dio.
That one I would have to listen to. Because I've never, outside of some songs from Holy Diver and The Last in Line, I've never fully listened to his discography.
So we're doing an album ranking / discussion / short Q&A, if anybody wants to answer them.
Yes. And quote-unquote retrospective in some cases. That's what it is. Because we are going to go over Ozzy's history and all that stuff. So shall we begin with the
What's more to say? What was it?
Yes. Obviously,
1976. We'll start there. So, Ozzy's solo career technically started during the technical ecstasy era of Black Sabbath.
Little fun fact. Yes, I found out about that while doing my part 1 for Black Sabbath retrospective, which also you can go and check out.
Sorry, guys. We'll come back to my room because it is hot in the kitchen. So,
yes.
Sorry, guys.
So, getting back to what he mentioned about it, Ozzy wanted to do a solo career back then. But then, obviously, then the band got Dave Walker. But then Ozzy came back, and, we all know the shit show that was Never Say Die. Well, this is where it all begins. Shortly after that, Ozzy was fired from Black Sabbath, which this I will say about this in my part 2. Hopefully, that will happen sometime this winter, and I will be doing that with my good friend Liam Winfield. But I'll mention about that. But obviously, in here, he got fired from Black Sabbath. With very deep, dark, depressive time in his life, was drinking, doing drugs, all that stuff. Sharon came to save him and all that, and then basically he wanted to start a band again, and so he recruited Lee Kerslake on the drums, rest in peace. Bob Daisley, Lee Kerslake on the drums, Bob Daisley on bass, and then the late great Randy Rhoads
only did 2 albums. Only did, what was it, 2 studio albums with Ozzy's head. Was it 2 or 3?
2. He only did 2. We'll get to the other one. We'll get to the last one.
And his full name is John Michael Osborne, born on December 3rd, 1948. He is age 72 as of right now.
Yes. About fun fact about when this lineup happened. Originally, Ozzy wanted to have the band be called Blizzard of Oz. But I think label and all that stuff were like, no, we'll just name it Ozzy Osbourne. So, obviously, we get to, and I'm going to bust this thing out if I can even find it. Here it is, 1980s Blizzard of Oz.
There you go.
9 tracks on here. And what can I say? It's an instant classic. It is a pure instant classic, hard rock, heavy metal. I mean, what songs you got on here? You know, I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Goodbye. Obviously, Crazy Train, the big hit. Goodbye to Romance, Suicide Solution, Mr. Crowley, obviously, Revelation, yes. Mother Earth. It's a damn near perfect album. And for this reason alone, because of this album, number 1 for me.
Let's talk about this album in a little more detail. So I will tell my side of it. This was not the first album that got me into Ozzy's solo career. First album was the second album, but we will get to that second. So here's my review of the first album. You start off with I Don't Know. Catchy song, great intro. You have come on, Crazy Train. The song is sold.
Classic.
Goodbye to Romance. Then track number 4, D. Weird name for a song. I will say that.
But it's just an instrumental. There's nothing I can say. It's just an instrumental.
Then you got the epic 4-minute and 20-second song, Suicide Solution. You got the epic on side 2, kicking off with the dark, deep Mr. Crowley with that electric keyboard intro. Then you have a good gem of a track, No Bone Movies. Revelation, Mother Earth. Fuck yeah. And then you have Steal the Night Away. Then you have the 2002 reissue, which pissed me off because they removed Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake's contributions for the 2002 remaster album, and they had some other guys mix it.
Oh, wait, was it? Rob's video?
They had Ozzy's current drummer at the time, Puffy.
Mike Borden,
and their current bassist at that time.
Ron Trujillo. We'll get to him. We'll get to that lineup later.
And then in 2011, you had the remaster finally, which reverted back to the original sound recordings, which honestly they should have never.
Yes, like I said, this album is damn near perfect. Like I said, and you mentioned the one track that I think is preventing this from being perfect. No Bone Movies. I just can't stand it.
Why? What's wrong
I remember listening to like, this is what? I was just like, Okay, yes, but it's okay. But it's nothing compared to the rest of the song, the rest of the album. The rest of the album is great, but it's a perfection killer.
Okay. Now here's my number one ranked album. As in favorite, and it's this mine. Well, yes, this is my number one ranked album out of all the Ozzy albums. We're going into the second album.
Oh, what ranking do you have, Blizzard?
Blizzard, it's number 5 on my list.
Wow. Okay.
It dropped down a bit.
Okay, get into your number one then. What Diary of a Madman?
Yes. That's my number one favorite Ozzy album, and I'll discuss why. I will kick off Diary of a Madman for you guys.
I got it too. On CD.
And what can I say about the album cover? I mean, look star.
Oh.
With the yellow and red Ozzy Osbourne logo on there, and then the red and yellow Diary of a Madman.
And there's the back.
Yes. And this album was released in 1981. November 7th, 1981 was released by Jet Records, the label, which is no longer around.
Yeah, this was released by Epic.
But we'll go to the track listing, and you kick it off with the epic drum intro by Mr. Lee Kerslake, Over the Mountain. Then you go into another epic track, Flying High Again. Then, of course, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, Believer, Little Dolls. This right album kind of goes flat a little bit for me. Little Dolls, Tonight, Could Care. Then you go into track 7, sort of a Doomy Sabbath vibe song. The song's called Sado.
Yeah.
Then you have the title track to end it off, Diary of a Madman. That's such an evil song.
Yes.
And that album ranks number 1. And it was the very first Ozzy solo album I ever purchased. I don't have it anymore. But it's
I still have it. To this version. So yeah, I had this at number 3, Diary, a great sounding album, but I just think it has a little bit more filler than on Blizzard to me. It's just like you mentioned Little Dolls and Tonight were just you don't care. But I feel like those could be either 4, 5, or 6 are kind of fillery, to be honest.
That sounds like track 7. That's not filler. That's good rock.
Track 7, no. I said 4, 5, and 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah, those I feel like are kind of fillery type of songs. They're just nothing to them. But
then of course to follow up this you had
the history of obviously there's stuff that happened following this. That's the same lineup. Obviously a lot of stuff happened after Blizzard. Randy, obviously you mentioned late great. Randy died in a plane crash.
Before Randy died, the band was already starting to crash because after the European tour, Lee Kerslake and Bob Daisley approached Ozzy and Sharon about their paychecks because apparently Ozzy and Sharon were withholding money from both of them during the European tour, and Lee Kerslake got pissed, and Bob Daisley got pissed at Ozzy. Both got pissed at Sharon. This was before Randy died. And they were asking, when are we going to get paid our dues in the band? And they quit.
Yeah. Bob for a little bit. He would come back on Bar.
Yeah. But Lee Kerslake would never come back in the band because he held a grudge against Sharon because
he never got his later. I don't know. He might have gone back to Uriah Heep at that point.
He did.
Yeah. But Bob Daisley came back. But then obviously I mentioned Randy. The plane crash. And
Randy Rhoads just broke up that ended that era of
and Sharon, Ozzy was in another kind of depressive mood, but Sharon soldiered him on.
And
they got it. They end up getting, I think, on the
Technically,
drums.
we would have lost Ozzy too because originally Ozzy was going to stay on that bus with Randy. So technically, we almost lost Ozzy too.
Wow. Yeah. But yes, obviously from that they got new drummer Tommy Aldridge. They got a keyboardist, Don Airy, which coincidentally they would later join Whitesnake shortly after this album.
Yeah, it's funny.
Bob is still on the bass, but usually on tour it was
Mhm.
Rudy Sarzo, I believe.
And technically, Tommy Aldridge was never on an album. He only played live with the band.
So
because,
he was never on He was never on the next album. Wow. Okay, that's it.
So next album was Bark at the Moon.
I thought he was on this next album, but
he was
only on. Well, technically, they consider him to be on it, and then they brought in a very underrated guitarist in Jakey Lee, and in 1983 they would release Bark at the Moon,
which is my number 2.
Wait, what number?
Bark at the Moon is number 2 for me.
This is where the problems start for me. I have this at number 6, and let me explain why. Aside from the first 2 songs, Bark in the Moon, awesome. You're No Different, great. Everything else after it to me was just forgettable. Rock and Roll Rebel, forgettable filler. Everything else was just, I was just not in a great mood listening to it. It was just filler.
You know what I think about this album sometimes? I'm so tired of the filler on the album.
Yeah, there is a lot more filler.
And then track 8.
It's like I said, it was just boring. It was just forgettable for me.
And the longest track on the album is You're No Different, clocking in.
And that song's great. I love that song. I love Bark at the Moon is awesome.
They could have done more with this album.
I just think it was just more filler for me.
Okay, I will talk about this next debacle.
Oh God, the next album. If you thought Bark we're getting here. We're at the point.
And this is
the worst album in the 80s Ozzy albums.
In the retrospective, I'm gonna count the covers album as a studio album.
What?
It was counted as a studio album in his discography.
I don't count covers.
Okay. Anyway, so let's talk about the album cover art first. Yeah.
Oh, the Ultimate Sin, yes. Or Bark.
The Ultimate Boredom.
Yes, the worst one. This is number 10 for me. Number 01, 10.
This is number 9.
The worst 80s Ozzy album.
This is number 9. It beats one album.
We'll get to the worst one later.
Yeah. And let's talk track. You talk track listing.
Oh God, I can't even remember most of the song albums. I was just like, there are only a handful of songs that I'll say, okay, they're good. Killer Giants, Thunder Strikes, title track, and Shot the Dark. Everything else is just glam garbage.
It is. You have Ultimate Sin, then A Secret Loser. You know what I'm a secret loser for buying this album?
I'm so thankful I don't own it.
I haven't
never owned this album.
Never know why. Then thank God for the bomb. That doesn't roll off the tongue well for a song.
Oh.
Then track 5 is Never. Track 6, Lightning Strikes. Track 7,
Lightning Strikes, great track.
Killer of Giants. Track 7. Track 8, Fool Like You. That sounds like a rap song title. And track 9, Shot in the Dark. Only 3 good songs on the album.
4. I say 4. Killer Giants, Lightning Strike, Shot in the Dark, and Ultimate Sin. They're the only good ones. But the reason I have this so low is they just went on the glam scene. It was just no. I can't. It's like Ozzy's just beating an already dead horse.
The next album, we kind of get a rejuvenated. Oh, well, not
exactly. Okay, the line. We forgot about the lineup with Ultimate Sin. Well, this is the first one with what I consider to be Ozzy's best drummer, Randy Castillo. You still have Jackie Lee, and I don't know who the bassist was. Probably a forgettable name. But you come on to this next album. Oh, that was the only one Bob Daisley would be after for a while in the early stuff. Bob Daisley would come back. And he did. He was with Sabbath at the time. I think he ended up doing The Eternal Idol. Yes. He comes back to Ozzy, but he's only doing studio. So for the tour wise, Ozzy gets Geezer Butler. Randy, and then Jakey Lee leaves, and in comes a young guitarist. Well, what's his name? Zach Wild.
Zach Wild, Mr. Zach Hillbilly.
Yes, his debut album, and in 1988, we get No Rest for the Wicked. Finally, we're getting into good shit.
And the lineup has 2 bass players. One for the album, one for the tour.
Yes, Geezer Butler.
Bob Daisley's final album with Ozzy, and then we have Mr. Terry Butler.
Geezer Butler. He's known as Geezer Butler.
Yeah. But 1988. In this album, the genre is considered heavy metal and hard rock, which should be.
Heavy, back to being great again.
And we start off with a killer track, Miracle Man.
Yes.
We're in the video, you see Ozzy humping a pig in a church. I'm not lying. Ozzy, but still.
Yeah, the video is a classic. You see all the guys who would be in the tours and the music videos. Geezer doing Geezer stuff. You got Randy doing his thing. You get Zach, going all crazy before doing swamp ash stuff. On these early Ozzy, Zach Wild was trying to prove himself. These next two albums, he was a really great guitarist because he was young. He was trying to prove himself.
He had a chip on his shoulder, basically. He had a chip on his shoulder to prove to Ozzy.
Exactly. He had to prove himself in this band because you're new and all this stuff, and he proved himself.
And let's look at this awesome track list. We have Miracle Man kicking it off. Devil's Daughter, Holy War. Crazy Babies. Okay, I'm not too crazy about that song.
I love it.
Breaking All the Rules. Heck yeah. I'm breaking all the rules, breaking all the rules. Yes. Bloodbath in Paradise. Fire in the Sky, which was played live a bunch of times. Tattoo Cancer. Demon Alcohol. And the song Hero.
Killer album.
And then you will tell us about the next album.
Yes. Before that, some history. Obviously, Geezer would go back and do Black Sabbath, but do the Heaven and Hell lineup, which we will talk about that. And I will talk about that in the Black Sabbath part 2. But he went to go there. But then Ozzy went to go and obviously get another. Bob Daisley was still there on studio only. You get future Alice in Chains bassist Mike Enos, and in 1991 we get what I consider to be the best Ozzy Osbourne album in his career. No More Tears. Everything about this album is perfect. Absolutely perfect. No weak moments whatsoever.
I object.
What do you mean object?
I have a bone to pick about this album. I'll let you finish.
Yes, everything from Mr. Tinker Train to I Don't Want to Change the World to the great ballad that is "Mama, I'm Coming Home," to then "Desire," to the title track, "Hellraiser," freaking "Zombie Stop," "A Road to Nowhere." Just so many great and not filler tracks on this album to me. It's fucking fantastic. Because I only have it at number 2 because of Blizzard, I just think to myself, this album is perfect.
Yeah. This album's not perfect for me. This album missed my top 5. This is number 7. What? And I love this album. But it misses the mark for me. I don't like the drumming on this album.
What?
No, I don't. Go ahead, shoot me in the head.
How dare you? How dare you not have this so damn freaking low?
It's number 7. It's a good album. It just missed the mark for me. There's albums ahead of it for me. Anyway, I'll give you guys my final ranking at the end. So, it could change. Don't forget, It could change at the end of the video. But we start off with Mr. Tinkertrain, my favorite song of the album. And then you go into I Don't Want to Change the World. It's a good ripping track. I Don't Care for Mama, I'm Coming Home.
I fucking love it. It is probably his best ballad ever.
I Have a Desire Not to Hear track 4 ever again.
I love Desire. It's
No More Tears is good.
Yeah.
Sin, also known as Won't Be Coming Home Yet. I don't like how they titled that song. Hellraiser's good. Fucking Zombie Stomp.
Love it.
That's about it for the song. I don't have to say the other 2 tracks. It's killer, my opinion. And then I will talk about this 90s album, which is my preferred favorite 90s album. And this has Mr. Geezer Butler returning for the whole album and tour.
Yes, finally he's actually on an Ozzy album.
And this is my favorite Ozzy album cover out of them all. Osmosis. And it's a solid album, but it's forgotten about.
Yes, obviously, and also on there you have Dean Castronovo on the drums. And Zach's on there, but I think for the touring duties they got, what was his name? Something Holmes or something like that. Who I think he does a great job as a guitarist.
You got the epic Perry Mason. Great song. Then
Great.
You got the dark, evil Doomy. I Just Want You.
Yeah, I did want you. A great song.
Ghost Behind My Eyes, man. Thunder Underground. See you on the other side. Tomorrow, Denial. My Little Man. My Jackal Doesn't Hide. Old LA Tonight. This song does really not have any fillers on it either. So, they're all good.
Yeah. I just think that I really don't. It's kind of almost the same as like Bark at the Moon, but it's a little bit. I wouldn't say better than Bark, but it's kind of the same. Where there's a few really great songs, and then some forgettable.
And Osmosis was the last album where Ozzy's vocals were strong.
I think his vocals keep getting better. Well, I'll say let me get to the next album though.
Nice. I love the album.
All right. So we have Geezer, doing other stuff, and so obviously Zach comes back and all that, but he doesn't help with any of the writing stuff for this next album. But he's on the guitar. But you have coming in for the first 2 albums with Ozzy, Mike Borden from Faith No More, and on bass, Robert Trujillo, who would later audition successfully for Metallica.
Also,
now technically, you got a supergroup right here.
And technically, fun fact with Ozzy, after Robert Trujillo joined Metallica, Jason Newsted for a short bit joined Ozzy. Yeah.
But anyways, down to earth. what I consider to be the last great to really, really good to great Ozzy album, considering everything else we would get afterwards. Start off with, I think, oh, by the way, I had obviously Osmosis number 8. Dark of the Down to Earth is my number 5. It's like I said, the last great. You start off with Gets Me Through, which had a music video. It's a great song. Facing Hell is pretty freaking awesome.
Dreamer's a good song.
Dreamer is another great. Dreamer is a great ballad. I think, to me, up until we get to the more recent album, probably the last great ballad on an Ozzy album. Dreamer to me is a great ballad. No Easy Way Out. Obviously, this was at the time Zach was kind of in that Swamp Ash sound, but it was some of the albums like Blizzard and Dire of a Madman, fit the time. You're responding to some of those. Here, I feel like with the research, the appearance of new metal from bands like Slipknot, Disturbed, Cold Chamber, Godsmack, Korn, all those bands. It got metal back into. They got metal back into the mainstream, and a lot of those older bands, got rejuvenated, and were making really, really great albums. Case in point, Dream Theater during that time had 2, 6 Degrees of Turbulence, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence in Metropolis Part 2. Freaking who else have been? Iron Maiden, Brave New World, Opeth, Blackwater Park, Tool Lateralis. Metal bands that were already established before this were making some of their best albums of this period, and Ozzy is no different in this. I wouldn't say his best overall, but it's of the time it fit. Metal was coming back into the mainstream, and this Ozzy just it fit of the time. Where were we next after that? What was after No Easy Way Out? That I Never Had, which Rob Trujillo helped write on that song, which is really cool. And then we get Junkie. There's great stuff on it, and like I said, the album fit of the time.
It fit the last 2 albums, basically.
Yeah, it was. I'd say better, and it was the last thing Ozzy would do.
It was the last good quality
Ozzy album that he would ever do, considering everything else afterwards was just not so great.
And I'm gonna talk about this album. I consider this a studio album. Not too many other Ozzy fans do. I'm gonna talk about Undercover.
Go for it.
And this album came out in 2003. It was recorded between 2003 and 2005. So 2 years. And it was released on November 1st, 2005. And Ozzy wanted to do a covers album. So, and he wasn't really recording material until 2006.
7.
That's 7. So this album came out, and it features... There's a dual disc version, which features an alternative version of Changes with Ozzy and
with
Kelly.
With his daughter.
Yeah. Which I prefer the Sabbath version, but we're not going to talk about it.
It's a good one.
And also, unreleased tracks were supposedly found of Ozzy singing Mississippi Queen for this album. Never released the track. But here's the track listing. Rocky Mountain Way, In My Life, a Beatles cover. Mississippi Queen. Track number 4 is Go Now. Number 5 is Woman by John Lennon. Number 6, 21st Century Suicide Man.
Schizoid Man. That's
Schizoid Man by King Crimson. Yes, Ozzy covered King Crimson.
That was on In the Court of the Crimson King. In the Court of the King.
All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople. For What Is Worth. Good Times by The Animals. Sunshine of Your Love by Cream. That's track number 10. 11 is Fire by Arthur Brown. Track number 12 is Working Class Hero by John Lennon. Track 13 is a cover of Symphony for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. And track number 14 is Changes with Kelly.
Yeah, his daughter.
If I had to rank this album, not considering studio albums, this is not a good covers album. It's a listen, but it lacks, and it lacks hard.
Yeah. Now, I never really ever counted covers albums or live albums, except for the fact that I ended up getting.
Oh boy, the final albums. Get ready.
Oh boy, it's gonna only get worse from here. 2007, Black Rain. This is the first Ozzy album to have Blasco on bass, who was formerly with Rob Zombie. This is swamp ass sounding Zakk Wylde at its freaking worst.
Not going away. All I can say, what can I say for this album? What's next?
I don't want to stop.
I don't want to stop, but I want to stop listening to this album.
I will admit, these songs of the time were. I've listened to this album for the first time when it first came out, and I thought it was good. Like it. But I do understand that some of it. But I'm like, there are other albums that I think are better than it.
These albums, plus the 13.
It's not literally bottom of the bin. We'll get to that soon.
And I want to throw this in there. The 13 album was really swampy and doomy.
Yeah, but that's Black Sabbath.
Yes.
That's understandable. It's Black Sabbath. You got Tony Iommi on the guitar. It's understandable with that sound.
Yes. Now they could have gone probably with Vinny Appice on drums instead of Brad Wilk. That would have been at least a richer.
He did a good job.
Yeah. But anyway, back to this album. We're getting off track. Not Going Away. I Don't Want to Stop is really the only song that stands out on the album.
Yeah.
The title
you can
track.
Hear Me, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. I was just all right.
Black Rain, the title track. Is it a bad title track song? No.
It's good. It's good. It's a good title track.
Is it his best title track? Not by any mile.
Nah, there's been better title tracks.
No
more tears exists.
Lay Your Word on Me. The ultimate sin exists, sadly.
The Almighty Dollar. I think that's an awesome track.
11 Silver. Civilize the Universe. Here for you. Countdown begins. Trap Door.
There's some good stuff. I can't say the same about the next album.
This is the
Before
album
we
I
get
despise.
into that one, let's talk about a little bit of the history.
This is the album I despise the most. Scream.
Well, we get to that. Mike Gordon leaves. He will go do Mike Faith No More stuff. Zakk Wylde gone. Controversial. And in comes, I believe, you got Tommy Copias from also Rob Zombie. And you get Gus G on guitar, and you get what is essentially the worst Ozzy album, Scream. There's no debate where
Tony Copias,
number 11,
good drummer,
easily the worst Ozzy album ever.
There's one that's worse, but we'll get to that.
I don't consider it to be that bad.
Scream
is the definitive worst. Everybody, I just don't care for it.
I
only like a handful of tracks on it. This album is just it downright sucks.
Let It Die. Can we just let this album die?
It's a good track. Let me hear you scream. Man, it's okay.
Soul Sucker.
Soul Sucker. Big wet fart of a song. It's bad. It is bad. Life won't wait for you. Another.
This album gets worse.
It's already getting bad already with back-to-back songs. Okay, it redeemed himself with the next song. What was the next song called? Digging Me Down? That's a good song.
Number 6, Crucify.
No, nope. The shit's piling on at this point.
Number 7, Fearless. Isn't that a Pink Floyd song?
Shit, get it out of here.
Number 8, Time.
What time is it? I'm done listening to this pile of crap.
Number 9, I Want It More. No thanks.
Oh, you want shit more? Okay, here you go. You get more shit.
Number 10, Vladimir's Mercy. What a ridiculous song.
Oh God, Vladimir's Mercy. More like shit. Diarrhea's Mercy. Ugh.
And then 11, I Love You All. Okay, that song's not bad.
Okay, so there's a few songs on there. But for the most part, it's a big, not big, but it's like, what's a good enough term? Maybe it's horse-sized
This
shit.
album doesn't even have a swampiness to it. This album just has a
This
big
is
old
downright shit. It's horse shit. It is bad horse shit.
And then
drying out in the sun.
the last album. This said the last album I don't like.
Okay. What's the next album? This one's an interesting one.
Ordinary
Man. Okay.
I'm gonna agree with Ben.
10-year gap in between. You don't have Zach, who just rejoined at that point. You don't have any band members from the previous album. Who you do get? You get Chad Smith, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Chickenfoot on the drums. You have Duck McKagan on the bass, Guns N' Roses, Velvet Revolver, all that stuff. But on the guitar is a guy named Andrew Watt, who is known for working with pop and rap artists. That is giving off red flags right there. But he does have a rock band, and he's a pretty solid guitarist, I will say. But he's nothing compared. He's nothing compared to Zach Wild. He's nothing compared to Jakey Lee or Randy Rhoads or Gus G. They are more talented than him. He is a competent guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
He's a competent guitarist. I had this at number 7. I thought there were some songs I like on it. Under the Graveyard and the title track is a great ballad. I think it's a great track. But you get songs like, what is it, Straight to Hell, and that shit belongs on the screen. It's so bad.
I love that song.
It's just so mediocrely bad. It's just no.
That's the only good song on the album, in my opinion.
Straight to Hell?
Yeah. It's the only song that has a good heavy metal rocking vibe to it.
I don't like the arrangement of it. I just like, what the fuck is this crap?
If you listen to it again, it has like a Sabbath vibe to it throughout the song.
Yeah, okay. Good luck trying to get me to listen to that crap again.
Or try to listen to Black Rain again and be tortured by it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. There's rumors of Ozzy already recorded 15 tracks for a new album. The rumors floating around that.
Yeah, rumors. Yeah, obviously, there is either it's going to be one side was going to be, have the same lineup from Ordinary Man, and then you'd have coming in on the other side,
Mr. Geezer,
Taylor Hawkins and Rob Trujillo. So we kind of got a little down to earth reunion right there. So I'm like,
and the new album supposedly features 3 bass players from Ozzy's past. I'm gonna guess Geezer's on there.
Obviously I said Rob, so that there's one Rob. Geezer could be.
Geezer's supposedly gonna be on.
Maybe Bob Daisley.
Bob Daisley does not want anything
Bob
to do with
Daisley is still alive, so
he said he does not want to have anything to do with Sharon or Ozzy. He loves.
Well, who's the
he
only
loves
other
him.
bassist you've ever had?
Yep.
Blasco. There you go. There's your third. Like, at least you get the next album, you would at least have someone from,
And plus,
Scream
if you're
at
gonna do an
least.
album, don't make Ozzy do a huge world tour. Maybe have him do UK and US and maybe a few European shows, but don't have the man,
Yeah, he's getting up there in age, If he just wants to do
And
studio stuff,
technically,
that's his thing.
and technically, Ozzy should have already been retired. Sharing.
He said the No More Tours thing, he said that might be the end of it. He might still do studio albums while he's still alive. I think that would be great at least.
No, it would be a real shocker. He gets in the studio with Tony and Geezer and a different drummer and does a one-off studio album just to end it for good for his whole career.
Get Bill. You gotta get Bill Ward.
Bill-
You gotta have the original lineup.
Bill made a Facebook video a while back to the Sabbath fans saying he can no longer play the Sabbath stuff on drums anymore. Sadly, he lost the ability. Sadly, but there was,
Ozzy's been wanting to do at least one more album or tour with Bill.
there was
That's a little bit sad to hear about that.
There was talks about Vinny Appice maybe rejoining that lineup. So you would still
It's
have.
still a Sabbath. He's still a former Sabbath member.
And I love Tommy Clufetos, but he didn't fit the Sabbath on those tours.
Yeah, he fits the Ozzy stuff, but not the Sabbath one. I think Brad Wilk did a pretty good job on it.
We have 0 people in chat. Well, you guys aren't real metalheads then.
It's all right. It's all right,
So, let's see. What were some bands that opened for Ozzy? That really.
You got to count all the bands all the bands that were on Ozfest. So
Ozfest, you had the 2005 infamous Iron Maiden incident with Sharon.
Wasn't Judas Priest on an Ozfest?
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine if an Ozfest featuring Sabbath, Priest, and Maiden.
Yeah, and of course you fuck up with Maiden, but you still have Priest and Sabbath. I'm thinking, yeah.
You never know. Time.
I would love to
heals
see
all
Ozzy.
wounds. Time heals all wounds. Plus, they're all getting up there in age. You can't hold a grudge or anything like that.
How about one final Ozfest? Here's
I say a full-fledged, not a short stay, but like many dates Ozfest.
Dates just U.S. U.S. and Mexico.
And Canada, too.
Okay, Canada.
Because you got to realize Canada separates the U.S. from Alaska, so...
The last night, you have Ozzy come out with a few different lineups.
Or maybe it can be a multi-day thing at one spot where it's a 3-day thing, and you'd have certain eras of the band that are possible you could do. You could have one lineup be...
Mike Borden still plays drums on Faith No More, so you could have him come in.
Yeah, so long as you have Faith No More on the lineup, you could do the Down to Earth lineup at least. And Faith No More and Metallica. So if you have Metallica on the lineup, you could do a Down to Earth reunion. Okay, so what would be the second night? Maybe.
Holy Curse!
Maybe one of the earlier albums. Maybe No More Tears. Oh wait, you can't. Randy's.
Carmine Appice can play drums for the tour.
But you could. Well, if you did the No More Tears lineup, you could still get Mike Enos, so long as Alice in Chains are on the lineup. You could get obviously Zach. You could get Zach, obviously.
You could get Zach, Tommy Aldridge, Ozzy, and maybe Bob Daisley, and you guys could do sort of like a No Rest for the Wicked / Bark of the Moon.
Tommy Aldridge was, we gotta find someone who would be more like Randy. Randy Castillo was a pretty
oh, someone drummer. Just commented and deleted it. Someone said I have Ace Frehley. I said, no. No.
I'm trying to think. Okay, maybe actually no, we can't do the original lineup. Nearly half the lineup is gone.
No, you could do the.
What
You could do
about
the
is
osmosis.
Jackie Lee still alive?
No, I don't think he
But
is.
we could have done the Bark lineup.
You could do osmosis. Just Danny Cuts.
Okay,
I mean,
how about this? One night, or maybe say one of the nights would be Ozzy and Friends. And you can have Ozzy on the vocals. You can have, say, I remember there was one night where you had 3 guitars. You had Gus, Zach, and Slash. Where their bass, you can have Geezer, and then drums, let's say, Brad or Tommy. That could be something that could happen. One night can be the Down to Earth reunion. Because think about it, this year's 20-year anniversary. If so long as you have Faith No More and Metallica on the lineup, it's possible.
well, around the early 2000s, when Metallica did a few tours with Ozzy during the early 2000s. Not too many people know, but they were.
Yeah, I think
album.
I think the last thing they did on Ozzy, Ozfest 2008 in Frisco, Texas, Metallica were on the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Ozzy was the closer.
And also,
but I think that would make
during
more
the
sense
80s,
to do a
in the early 80s, one of Ozzy's biggest openers, biggest headliners with Ozzy was always AC/DC. So,
but I'm trying to think of who else could work that would
and
work.
remember,
well, maybe have one night. How about the opening the first night? Friday night can be, the current or the current.
And remember, in Ozzy's
maybe you get
tour,
some bands. You can get Post Malone, you can get Andrew Watt on there, and you can have Chad and freaking Duff be there. So long as Red Hot Chili Peppers and then Guns N' Roses are on the same lineup, you can do the current lineup, and then one night can be the Down to Earth. Maybe the Down to Earth reunion could be the final night.
You're gonna have a Limp Bizkit reunion.
Okay. The second night when it comes to Ozzy can be the Ozzy and Friends night. So that could be Ozzy on vocals, and then you got Zach, Gus, and
the second night
on guitars.
The second night can be the Black Rain and Scream stuff. Get that out of the way.
No, the Ozzy and Friends thing would be a little bit better. So that you have those 3 guitars, and then you have Geezer on the bass, and then you can have either Tommy or Brad on the drums.
I would save that. I would save Geezer for the last night and have it be something special.
No, I'd say what I'm trying to say is the last night would be the Down to Earth reunion, the Down to Earth 20th anniversary reunion.
Here's the thing:
you can have so long as Faith No More and Metallica are on the bill, you can have the Down to Earth reunion. That would be the last night because it would celebrate an anniversary of an album, and that would make freaking sense. Unless you have something else in mind, we can't do a diary anniversary reunion because basically half the lineup is gone.
The last night was Down to Earth and Sabbath, and they called the last night Down to Sabbath, where Ozzy does 2 sets. The first set is with Sabbath with Ozzy, Geezer, Tony. If Bill can't do it, they have Vinny Appice on drums. Then the second set is Mike Borden, Robert Tahiro,
and a 10-song. Oh wait, how many songs are on Down to Earth?
I'll go back on here and check. Undercover track list.
The Down to Earth lineup.
11 songs. 11 tracks.
Okay, so if we did it like 11 of them would be the Sabbath stuff, and then 11 would be the Down to Earth lineup.
And if they're gonna play Sabbath stuff, I wanna.
You're gonna have to play the obvious stuff. You're gonna play Iron Man. You're gonna play Paranoid. You're gonna play NIV. You're gonna play War Pigs. You gotta
open with War Pigs.
War Pigs, obviously. Yeah, that would make sense. Maybe play some of the Heaven and Hell stuff. Maybe the title track.
Ozzy actually, it won't sound the same.
Children of the Sea had Ozzy was singing on it at one point on a demo.
He didn't like it. I think remember that Ozzy did not like like it.
Oh god. Yeah, I don't know if Ozzy can pull that kind of
Here,
stuff off.
here's the 11 tracks I want to see. For the first, we have Sabbath opening with Ozzy. Ozzy comes out dressed in his Never Say Die attire with little strings coming down. You have Tony, you have Teaser, and you have Vinny Appice on drums. You open with
War Pigs.
you open with Super Czar. Then you go into War Pigs. Then from War Pigs, you go straight into Behind the Wall of Sleep / NIB as one song. Then you go into Hand of Doom. Then we go to play Killing Yourself to Live. Then Snowblind. Electric Funeral. So that's 8 tracks.
Okay, then the 3's got to be your big ones. You're going to have Paranoid, Iron Man.
No, you have Iron Man, you have Never Say Die, then you have Paranoid.
Yeah.
Because,
and then lights go out. Ozzy maybe changes. Obviously, he opened this, then, like you said, the light. He changes into the long black coat. Dyes his hair or somehow. I don't know how he's going to be able to get it all done.
Imagine
then,
this.
Boom.
Ozzy, long black coat, brings back the purple circle shaped glasses.
Ozzy, freaking like I said, the long coat, all with all the chains on it, and that would be
the very last track. Ozzy plays Under the Graveyard, and everyone comes out and plays with Ozzy. That's the last track. That's track 11. That would be a perfect way to end it out.
But you still have the rest of that set is the Down to Earth lineup. With Zach on, Ozzy on vocals, Zach on guitar, Robert Shea on bass, and Mike Gordon on the drums. I would lose my mind over that. Yeah. And then you hear basically, I think you play the piano, the opening, you got to play it in order, So you got to play it, the order that it is. The piano bit of gets me here and it gets
me. Are we going to do a live or Ozzy does the other stuff? Are we going to do a legit live album itself concert for it?
I would definitely get a Down to Earth live CD of it. That would be freaking awesome.
Oh, Metal Ben's going live shortly.
Okay, maybe we should call all this a quits then.
Hold on, before we finish it. So now we have a few minutes left. So now I'm going to rank all the albums now. And then you give your final ranking, and I'll give my final ranking. So number 10 is Scream. That album.
There's 11 albums.
11 is Scream. 11. I mean, come on. Number 10. Even though I like the album Black Rain, is number 10. Number 9 is Ordinary Man. Number 8 is Ultimate Sin. Number 7 is Bark at the Moon. Number 6 is Osmosis. Number 5 is No More Tears. Number 4 is Down to Earth.
Higher than mine.
Number 3 is Blizzard of Oz. And number 2. Am I missing a few albums?
Did you mention?
Black Rains.
Okay, you didn't mention Diary of a Madman and Bark at the Moon? No, wait.
Bark at the Moon is number 7.
Did you the Ultimate Sin?
Ultimate Sin was number 8.
Okay, No More Tears?
Oh, Osmosis.
No Rest for the Wicked.
Yes, that's number 2. And number 1
number 1 you said is
Diary of a Madman.
Okay. Same as you. My number 11 is Scream. My number 10 is The Ultimate Sin. My number 9 is Black Rain. My number 8 is Osmosis. My number 7 is Ordinary Man. My number 6 is Bark at the Moon. My number 5 is Down to Earth. My number 4 is No Rest for the Wicked. My number 3 is Diary of a Madman. My number 2 is No More Tears. And my number 1, Blizzard of Oz.
Alright, guys. This has been Metal Douche with Mike and Ryan's retrospective. There might be more of these.
Sort of.
Sort of.
I might have clarified that this was going to be on the channel. I've changed my mind. I'll do something for this one.
Okay.
I'll do something on my own for it. So.
Okay.
I'm just glad I got the monkey off my back to do Ozzy now.
Stupid monkey.
Get the monkey out of here.
Alrighty, guys. Subscribe to Ryan. Please subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to my channel. We are going to go check out another friend now. So you guys keep it metal, keep it real. And
yes, and like he said, as always, keep things metal.
All right. Peace
Peace
and
out,
love.
guys.